Hello everyone, welcome to this video discussion on work ethics. In this video discussion, I will be connecting my previous discussion on communication for work or business purposes to work ethics. For most of you, you might be questioning why there is this importance to discuss about work ethics. Well, in a workplace, it's very important that you know not only how to communicate well, but also how to relate well with your co-employees or your bosses or your supervisors. And that is why it is also important to know the different principles with regard to work ethics so that you will also know how to communicate well with these people in the organization. Now, here are the topic learning outcomes. First one is to create clear, coherent, and effective communication materials. Second is to present ideas persuasively using appropriate language registers, tone, facial expressions, and gestures. And lastly is to adopt awareness of audience and context in presenting ideas, in communicating ideas. We will be defining work ethics, and then we will also be increasing your awareness on the steps towards better work ethics. And lastly, we shall be applying good work ethics. And in your case, as students in the future, you shall be applying all of these good work ethics that I will be discussing in this video discussion. So to begin, let us have first a brief background about work ethics. What is work ethics? The work ethic is a cultural norm that advocates being personally accountable and responsible for the work that one does and is based on the belief that work has intrinsic value. When you say work ethics, that means you being an employee or a worker of an organization or a corporation value the very essence of your job, okay, based on the job description that you have. This means acknowledging that you have a special function playing or being played in the company. The term is often applied to characteristics of people both at work and at play. In sports, for example, work ethic is frequently mentioned as a characteristic of good players. Now, to further discuss about work ethics, it's good that we be knowledgeable about the different steps towards better work ethics, and these are the following. First is attendance, second is character, next is teamwork, then we have appearance and attitude, and then we also have productivity, organizational skills, communication, cooperation, and respect. Now, if we wish to really holistically develop our work ethics, then these values should be possessed by us. It is very important that we know how to integrate these values not only in our personal lives but also in our professional dealings. Through that, we can be able to improve our work ethics. Let's begin with attendance. Now, one problem among Filipinos is that we have this so called Filipino time. And we really cannot avoid it, but sometimes Filipinos have the tendency to come to work late, most especially if the supervisors or the bosses are just too lenient when it comes to attendance. Attendance and punctuality often have a large impact on individual and team success. Remember that your punctuality in coming to work will also affect the implementation of various programs or projects. And it will affect not only the implementation, but also your dealings or relationships with your co workers. Tardiness or absenteeism can also profoundly impact job performance and retention. For example, in most days you are absent at work, then most likely all deliverables could be affected, okay, greatly affected. That is why, as much as possible, if you are already a professional and you are working already in a business or corporate setting, avoid absences because absences could make you a notable employee, as a matter of fact. Absences could also cause delays. Okay, it can also cause problems with different functions in the company. So once you are already in a workplace, you need to avoid being tardy or being absent most of the time. So how can you maintain good attendance? First one is make work a high priority. While it is true that we also need to value ourselves, for example, our health, or also our personal life, let us not also forget that we are working to earn. And our earnings The money that we earn could also help us survive our daily life. And so we shall not forget also that our work is something that could also be prioritized. Okay. Second one is that you have to know your schedule. So you have to be definite about the time in or the time out. And you should also be reminded at all times of all the things that you need to deliver, for example, in the morning or in the afternoon. Third one, you should get enough sleep. The common principle is that whenever you are already at home, do not do additional work or tasks. So whenever you are at home, you just have to relax. So that in the evening, if you will not work anymore with other tasks or work related activities, you can get enough sleep. So you have to rest early so that you can also wake up early and you could avoid yourself from being late or absent. Okay. Another one is that you should arrange your own transportation. So if you notice that, or if you have been late for quite some time because of difficulty in commuting or because of traffic jam, then you have to adjust the time that you will leave your house. Through that, you can make sure that you will not be coming to work late. And then you should also inform your supervisor of an absence. That is a must. Whenever you are not around or whenever you could not make it the next day, you have to respectfully inform your supervisor of the reason why you will be absent. Through that, the supervisor or any person, your coworker, could find someone who could do the tasks in your absence. Okay. Next one is character. An employer expects employees to work together toward achieving the objectives of the company. The wise employee who is interested in having a good relationship with an employer will try to help the employer achieve success. You know what? In any workplace, character is very important. Character here projects the kind of person you are. It reflects your personality and your values. And so, you should make sure that whenever you are in a workplace, your good character should something that could really project productivity, good relationship with your co-employees, and also respect towards your higher ups. So do not forget to have this character. And in relation to this, we also have desirable traits related to character. And these are first, loyalty. Loyalty means being loyal to the job or to the employer that you have. Second is honesty. You need to be honest in both words and actions. Third is that you have to be trustworthiness. Remember that once you lost the trust of your boss, then sometimes it's very difficult to regain anymore. So that's why you have to make sure that in everything you do, you are honest or you have this integrity. Through that, you will always remain to be that employee who is trustworthy. You should also be dependable, meaning you can work at your own pace, you can work independently. The boss should not be always there beside you to teach you or to spoon feed you everything that you need to do. So dependability means you can work on your own without or with minimum supervision of your boss or your higher up. Another one is reliability. For example, if your boss assigns you to a task for a project, reliability comes in wherein the boss trusts you. That even with minimal supervision, you can actually do or accomplish things excellently. Next one is initiative. If you're an employee, you should not wait at all times for the commands or the dictations of your boss. You have to have your own initiative so as to show that you really have interest in doing things in the company. We also have self-discipline. Okay, you have to discipline yourself at all times and make sure that you have good interpersonal skills with people around you. And lastly, you have self-responsibility, or I can call this as your own accountability, which means that you need to be very responsible of your own actions or doings inside the company. Remember, what you do inside the company can really affect not only yourself, but also the employees and the organization as a whole. Another important value that a person should possess in a workplace is teamwork. Teamwork doesn't necessarily mean helping your classmate or helping your office mate. Teamwork in the classroom or in a workplace, should we say, might be working quietly as not to disturb your, for example, classmates, or in the workplace, your co-workers or your co-employees. Teamwork also is, for example, in the future, if you are working or if you will be working in with your co-employees on a project that needs to be implemented as soon as possible, teamwork means having the initiative to suggest or recommend something to your teammates so that you could, as a team, achieve your goals or set objectives. Okay? Teamwork involves the following aspects. First one is respecting the rights of others. Remember that not at all times that your ideas or your recommendations should be the only suggestions that should be considered. Okay? You have to respect also the opinion or the suggestions of other people. Second one, be a team worker. When you say team worker, you also need to have the initiative to work, okay, or to act upon whatever is agreed by the team. Third one is you have to be cooperative. Okay, you need to collaborate well, cooperate in everything that your team does. And then you should also be assertive. Assertive here is totally different from being aggressive. When you say aggressive, that means you are being hostile already to the person and that you are no longer welcoming the ideas or opinions of your teammates. But when you say assertive, you insist your idea to the point that you really explain, respectfully or politely explaining all of your ideas so that you could be understood well. Another one is seeking opportunities for continuous learning. If you want to grow, not only as an individual in the company, but also a member of the team, you should seek opportunities for continuous learning, such as asking for feedback from your bosses or your supervisors. Through that, you are continually learning and improving yourself. You should also demonstrate mannerly behavior. So, as much as possible, avoid creating squabbles or chaos within your team because that, in effect, could really cause chaos or disorder in your team. So, consequently, this will lead to failure in achieving your set goals or objectives. You also need to respect confidentiality, which means that whatever is discussed within the group or the team should remain in the team only. Okay, you should not go to other teams and then divulge any confidential information to them just because you hate one member of your team. So you have to avoid that one. It's also important that you value appearance. A person makes their first impression of someone in 3 seconds. So if you're already in the work setting, make sure that you look as pleasing as possible. Although it's very wrong, but let us admit the reality that society nowadays is very judgmental. People in the society could throw judgments at you just because of your looks. So if you don't want to be misjudged, then you have to have good appearance as well. If you appear unkempt and wrinkled, someone is going to think that you do sloppy work. Okay, that you are very timid, you are lazy, you are unreliable. But if you dress to be a professional, your first impression will be excellent. That means people will think that you are knowledgeable of the things that you do in work. Your attitude also matters. It is very important to demonstrate a positive attitude. You have to appear self-confident and have realistic expectations for yourself. Okay? Remember that again, your character contains your attitude. So your attitude greatly affects the character that you project towards people. So in this case, you have to imbibe good attitude so that you will appear self-confident and at the same time, you will feel optimistic at all times, even if your team is already facing a lot of problems, perhaps about implementing a project or a program. It's also important that you value productivity. The reason why we work is for us to produce an output. Okay? That is for the benefit not only of our team, not only of us being employees, but also for the benefit of the organization. To be a productive employee or a student, a person must follow safety procedures, conserve materials, okay, being resourceful, keep the work area neat and clean, and follow directions properly. And if you have the initiative, then most likely you will really be a productive member of the organization because you need not to be instructed at all times on what to do. Rather, you have this initiative to start what needs to be started because you feel like it will be of significance once done. It's also important that you have the organizational skills. Employers consider effective time management and organizational skills as good work habits. One thing that is very important in a work setting is effective time management skills. Through that, it can help you really systematically organize the things that you should do and make sure that you can accomplish things at a given time. To begin managing wisely the time you spend at work, to prepare for assignments at home, and to manage your life at home and work simultaneously, you need to know and to put into practice some good time management techniques. This includes arranging your schedule and making sure that you have an orderly flow of activities for the day. So it is highly suggested that a day before, you have already organized the tasks that you will do so that on the day, you will already be guided with the things that you need to accomplish given a specific period or time. So here are some simple techniques on how you could improve your organizational skills. First one is to believe. As you enter into your new workplace, believe that you are in control. Sometimes your lack of self-confidence could really affect your performance at work. So you need to believe in yourself that you can actually do things in your control and that you can perform excellently in the workplace. Second one is to ask for help. No one died for asking for help. Okay? So you need to ask for help if it is very necessary already so that you could also avoid any adverse effect. Okay, for example, failure to perform a very important functionality. Okay, it helps to help comes in many forms, so you need to ask for it. You also need to prioritize what's the most important. So when you schedule already the tasks that you need to do, you have to identify which thing should be done first, okay, and which activity should be done last. And then it will also be very helpful to set timetables. You have to list what you have achieved and what is still pending. Maybe you can have your sticky notes on your screen or beside your computer so that you can always be reminded of the things that you are yet to achieve. And then, of course, in a workplace, you need to spend time wisely. It's good that you at times chit chat with your co-employees during coffee break. However, always take note that you still have a lot of things to do, and so you need to manage your time very well. Chit chatting can be done outside working hours. Okay, so you need to have also self-discipline to do that. Communication is also another important thing. Communication, may it be verbal or non-verbal, must be clear, to the point, empathetic, and one must keep in mind that we must always treat others as we would like others to treat us. So if you have problems with communication, you need to be very open with the people around you. If there are conflicts, then you need to resolve it through healthy communication. And if you believe that there is misunderstanding and you feel like it's irreparable already, then you can seek for the help of your higher ups or supervisors who can pacify the problem. Cooperation involves developing good working relationships, following the chain of command, good at conflict management, and being a good problem solver. If you cooperate well with the people in your company or in your work setting, then you have good relationship skills with your people as well. And at the same time, it will be easier or more convenient for you to accomplish things once people in your team cooperate with you. Respect is also of paramount importance. It cannot be emphasized enough that every working relationship from the top to the bottom of the chain of command is based on respect. Respect your subordinates as you do your superiors. Okay? So if you are a superior or a higher up, you also need to respect your employees at all times. Even if you are at the verge of anger, or even if you are in the midst of so much hatred, try to calm yourself and politely approach the person. Through this, you are settling any conflicts existing. This will also help you to manage yourself very well in front of the people in your company. Okay? So, this presentation will help you fully understand why it is very important to have these different skills. And one thing that you should always remember is that in a work setting, work ethics are very important. Work ethics will remind you at all times that there are certain values that you should possess in order for you to become an excellent employee of the company. And you have to be mindful as well of your own self as regards the values that you project towards other people. Remember that what you do in the company can also affect not only yourself, not only the organization, but also the people around you. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have questions, can you post them in the open forum?